at first I was very nervous. The whole concept of sitting there talking, you know, it's kind of hard to do a show by yourself. I give Seth Andrews a lot of credit because what he does is very, very hard. And I did that for about 15 weeks. And finally I convinced Miss Ashley that she needed to join me. And finally our Patreon account and had a little bit of money in it, and then we had a listener that went ahead and gave us the rest of the money to get the equipment so that Ashley and I could do a show together. And we got our first kit, which was very small, you know, nothing fancy, but it was enough to get the two of us together and get us recording. And ever since then, man, the rest is history. We're 126 episodes in. We've taken about three Sundays off in the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
You know, at episode 66, we decided to go live. I did pre-recorded and editing for 66 weeks and got tired of it. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to go live. And whatever happens, happens. And that's going to be the show they get. And we've been live ever since and love it.
Yeah, that the live part is really awesome. And you segued right into my next question, which was going to be... how did you get Miss Ashley to agree to come on the show with you?
He paid me.
Well, that's not technically true.
He just didn't pay me in like monetary value.
Ah, okay. Well, because
no, don't do that.
Okay, so the way that I finally convinced Ashley to come on the show was we went to the very first ReasonCon in Hickory, North Carolina, ReasonCon 1. That was about 2 years ago. And we were driving back, and I put on the episode of my radio show that was titled "Living with a Believer" because she was my believer at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she was an atheist. I was a brand new pissed off atheist, and she was still a believer. And I played that for her, and at the end of it, she didn't tell me, "Sounded great, you did a good job," nothing. She looked at me and said, "You need a co-host." And I'm like, "I've been telling you this for weeks, and you wouldn't join me." And she said, "Fine, if you get the equipment you need, I'll join you." And that was episode 50.
As doing news stories.
Yeah, well, it started
Part-time.
It started out you doing one news story in the whole show. And that was episode 13. You did your first news story. Then you did another one for 14, and then you joined me live on 15.
Yeah, because sometime during the middle of all that, you'd realized I actually had not read the Bible.
Yes, and I thought that would be a lot of fun. And the whole concept was that me being a non-believer and her being a believer, I was hoping there'd be more confrontation, you know, more discussion.
That backfired,
and it didn't work out that way. She sat down and read the Bible, and in a matter of months, she's like, "This is bullshit." No, I don't believe this. And I'm like, well, you completely ruined the whole dynamic of what I wanted the show to be. You know, an atheist and a believer sitting on the air discussing things. Didn't work out.
Yeah, well, you know, that's what Isaac Asimov said, was that the best way to create a new atheist is to have him read the Bible.
And it worked for her.
Yes, it did. And now it's to the point I'm like, the Bible is freaking boring.
And she doesn't even want to read it
I don't even want to read it anymore because I'm like, it's not even good. It's not even a good lie.
Yeah, it slows down there through the rest of, because you guys are on Do the Romney right now.
Yes.
Yeah,
Somewhere there.
they're in the rest of the Pentateuch, the first 5 books. It's kind of slow.
It's
you get
brutal.
a few, yeah. But you didn't get into Joshua, and it picks up again a little bit because they're going through and just slaughtering. It's like reading the Holocaust.
Yes.
Judges has a few good stories.
Like skip over Deuteronomy and get to the exciting parts.
We did get to the part of Deuteronomy that I was most interested in, on, you know, making the rape victim marry the rapist. You know, we did get, so maybe that might be what we need to do. Instead of just trying to read it chapter by chapter, we just need to pick a portion of the Bible and go. We'll discuss that in our next production meeting.
Yeah, because it's
instead of on Brother Brewer's show.
Well, because, you know, it's not like, you know, you've got good books out there that are fiction. They're really, really good. You know, and even though you know it's not real, it makes you feel like it's real and that you're right there. The Bible, I just feel like I'm reading words, and that's so freaking boring.
Yeah,
and half the words I can't even pronounce.
Yeah, it can be.
And that's the joy of it.
True.
Yeah, well, for me, unfortunately, I'm one of those saps that I've actually sat down. I've read through it probably 3 times now.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
You know, but I dig through and I go through into the history behind it and what was going on in Canaan and in Mesopotamia and in Egypt at the same time to get a feel of everything that was going on. And it's actually that part of it that finally turned me to be an atheist. It wasn't reading the Bible itself, which I thought was a little bit of an interesting twist. But I was going to also ask Miss Ashley, is there a podcast right now that you're not on?
Is there one that she's not on?
Let's see, the Gatetheist Manifesto,
Cognitive Dissonance.
Which, Kelly, we really need to talk about that. And Cognitive Dissonance, which I
Scathing Atheist.
Scathing Atheist, Gamcast.
There's a lot that she's not
on. The Atheist Experience, and then the other one,
Thinking Atheist. Dogma Debate.
No, I've been on Dogma Debate. We're part of their group, so I consider myself a part of them.
Oh, yeah, but so is Gatetheist Manifesto, so you should consider yourself a part of it.
And I'm not on that other one. What's it called? The one about the brewery dude?
Oh, yeah, that one.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I'm not on that one either.
You're not on that one either.
Well, but any redneck ones, yeah, I'm all over it.
Oh, yeah, if it's Southern, she's been there.
Yeah, I mean, Beyond the Trailer Park.
Yeah, I know that you've been on there. Go ahead.
And I think we've been on Unbuckling the Bible Belt, I think.
No, that I'm not a part of.
Oh, that you're not a part of.
Yes.
Maybe you might want to re-ask that question there, Brother Brewer.
Because I've been on just about all the shows.
Well, because it seems like that's what I think I meant, because it seems like every time I flip over to my podcast, you're on at least one of them somewhere. I cannot get through the week without hearing you at least once.
Oh yeah, now that's probably true. And
it's, you know what, it is so funny, Brother Brewer. If you'll go back and listen to even our earliest of episodes. Around 15 or 16, you would hear me tell Ashley that she has no idea how many people are going to want her to be on their show. Mm-hmm. And she's like, man, whatever. No one's going to want me. She hates the sound of her her voice.
I said, I'm a woman who lives in the South. Nobody wants to talk to me.
And everybody wants to talk to you. I'm the one nobody wants to talk to.
Oh, now.
Whatever.
You notice I had to bring both of you on tonight. So.
Yes, and I of course, I know why.
The only reason why he brought you on is because he felt sorry for your hand.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? I can't talk about no religion required without having his jackass on. So we'll just bring him on, and I'll pander to him for the first 20 minutes, and the rest is Ashley's. I understand.
Well,
I'm
okay.
used to it.
Well, I'm going to ask Ashley one more question, and then we'll get back to you, Bobby.
Wait a minute, he had half the beginning of your show.
Hey, you know what? Finally.
Well, he did say he was whoring himself out, so.
That's right. That's right.
You got to put out.
That's right.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm ready for your question.
Okay, well, the listeners, because I went through, and once I found your show, I went from the back episodes, episode 1, and just binge listened all the way up. It took a little while.
Right.
And we got to follow you through your journey as you were kind of a believer to becoming an atheist. What was that like for you as you started to, as the walls started crumbling down and you started to lose that faith? What were you going through with that?
My first thing, really?
Love it.
Really?
Keep going.
No, you have to turn the music off.
Bobby, see, don't make me angry.
You already messing one finger. You want to mess another one?
Look, I just thought it was appropriate. I'm sorry.
It is not.
And if he's smart, he'll keep that in there.
I know. How about if he's smart? You do know he's right there, right?
Well, if brains was dynamite, I wouldn't have enough to blow my nose.
Man, I can't tell you how many times my dad told me that.
Well,
if it wasn't for the change in my pocket, I wouldn't have any sense at all.
Exactly. Hey, I was asked a question that's about you. You are not allowed to derail shows. That's my job.
Who's in charge of the mute button?
Oh, actually, I am. No.
Me too.
Wait a minute. This is not cool. 2 men are in charge of silencing Miss Ashley.
It still couldn't happen.
Like win-win situation to me. All right, I'll stop derailing. I just thought I'd give you a piece of your own medicine. Go ahead, Miss Ashley.
You'll never be like me. So when I started coming out of it, I was relieved. because I went through the first stage that I went through was, holy shit, I don't have to answer to anybody. Like up in, in other words, and I wasn't going to go out and do bad things, but if I had, sexual thoughts, and I wasn't going to have to answer for that. Or, if I got mad at my mother, I wasn't going to have to answer for that, up in heaven or whatever. So there was a sense of, I can live my life the way, and I was excited about it. I was like, holy shit, I was excited about it. And then I went to, one of the things that I was really excited about was that I became a part of a community that accepted me. Even as a believer, they accepted me. But I was all like immediately upon, getting involved into the atheist community, people opened me with open arms. I had a family that loved me regardless, and we all became family. So, I always have them, and they've always, anytime I needed anything, they were there. If it was just to talk or anything, they were there. And then I started going through this angry stage because I started seeing just some of the similarities in religion. I started seeing it in the atheist community. So then I started getting disappointed because I'm like, I'm a part of this community that, is all about equality, all about, being kind to each other. And then I started sitting back, and when I really started getting deep into it, I started meeting other non-believers that were really nasty to believers. And, and I started, seeing that a lot of what goes on in religion goes on in atheism too. So I started getting angry about that, and I was like, great, I'm not going to be, once I realized there was no God and I didn't have to be a part of a religion, I was no way in hell going back to that same scenario.
Okay.
So I ended up talking to some people, and, and I just kind of stepped away for a little bit, not long, but enough to work things out. And, it took me a minute, but then I realized that we're all people. We're human beings. Everybody is different. Nobody is alike, and everybody's going to have an opinion. And, and if somebody wants to be mean to a religious person, then that's on them. That's not on me. That doesn't mean that's how I have to act.
Right.
So I got all excited, and I started meeting more people, and, I started getting more voiceful.
You're surely more vocal than you were when you started.
Yeah. I became more vocal. And then I started telling my story, which was a lot of, what I did was I turned from talking about religion to talking about my past. And that became a part of a therapy for me. So, that was a stage, I was like dealing with my past issues, and, I was finally realizing that I did nothing wrong, and that was just, just an asshole.
And I think one of the things that endeared you to people was the fact that you worked through that on the air. I mean, that wasn't something that you held private, that we did off the microphones. I mean, we turned on the microphones, and you laid it bare for everyone.
Yes, I did.
Your past abuses and everything.
Right.
So people got a chance to experience that with you and go through those stages with you.
Yeah.
And it endeared them to you.
Right.
That's why you're loved the way you're loved.
And when I went through that stage, that's when I found I started refining my faith, for lack of better words, in humanity.
In humanity.
Because people started coming to me and saying, oh my God, I went through the same thing, and you're helping me. So I was like, all right, yes, I'm doing something and I'm helping people. So I got excited. And then it got down. Then I got mad again. and I got mad for the same reasons. It all comes back because just, you get people who, when you become a voice on the air, and I don't know if you've had a chance to experience this yet, but when you become a voice on the air, people nitpick at what you say.
They do.
And I am not gonna sit here behind a mic and hold